Yeah, it's a real deal.
Experience these high-definition movies on Blu-ray disc. Get it. In high def, only on...
Very expansive vision for the third movie.
It's set in the desert, in the daylight. This is not a conventional zombie movie.
This film has quite a new look. There's a great visual contrast to it.
The characters are much closer together. It's definitely a different Resident Evil.
It's really cool. We've really put all of that on screen. Perhaps even bigger and better than I'd imagined. The third movie is set pretty much after the end of the world. The world has been wiped out by the T-virus. When we made the first Resident Evil movie, no one had made a zombie film for like 15 years. When I was growing up and I was a kid, the Lucio Fulci movies and the Romero movies, I mean, there was a new one coming out every couple of weeks, and kids loved zombie movies. Then no one made one for 15 years, and then with Resident Evil, we really made the first one again. Now there's a lot of undead movies around, so it really puts the pressure on for us to be original and kind of like continue to push the envelope.
For the first one, we very much wanted to capture the gaming experience. So it was a very claustrophobic, very paranoid movie in very confined spaces. When we did number two, we said, what is the exact opposite of number one? Would be to be out in the open, be in a contemporary city, have a lot of action rather than the confined spaces. For number three, we really felt that, you know, we have to go to the next level. We have to go to the next step, which is what happens when this is all over.
Raccoon City was just the beginning. Slowly but surely, the earth began to wither and die.
I felt that the genre of zombie movies had moved on from when we made the first Resident Evil film. Now we're in a position where there have been a lot of undead movies, and most of them take place in cities. People have become familiar with them. So I felt it was necessary to kind of broaden out the look and the feel of the movie. Took a lot of influence and a lot of inspiration from another kind of genre of films that I grew up with, which is the post-apocalyptic movie. Of course, the Mad Max and the Road Warrior being the key to those films and the best of them. Really, the idea of kind of fusing Resident Evil with a kind of Road Warrior feel came from watching the Road Warrior again with Mila's brother, Marco, who was 14 at the time, 13 or 14 when we watched the movie. And he had never seen it. And this was like amazing to me. I thought, wow, there's a whole audience of younger kids who've never seen the Road Warrior. And they don't know how cool seeing armoured trucks blast through these desert landscapes can be. So we thought, well, let's give that look another go, but let's kind of update it.
When we set out to find the director for Resident Evil 3, we said we want a real director. We don't want some video kid who's just done, one short or who's done a bunch of commercials. We wanted a real filmmaker. All three of us, Paul, Jeremy and I, we were always big fans of Russell's work.
Russell really invented a very cinematic, very different cinematic visual style. A lot of moving cameras, a lot of crane work, lots of very fast cutting. His work certainly had a big influence on me as a filmmaker, and that's why I was very excited to work with him on this movie.
When I read it, I was just so happy because it was such a great script. I'd seen the other two, one and two, and liked them very much. So I was very excited about it.
When we had the first meeting with Russell, he literally came in with a book that size, and he had storyboarded the entire movie. And it was a 2.5 or 3 hour meeting where he took us shot by shot, scene by scene through the movie, how he would do it, and we were just blown away by this.
Russell brought a lot of his own vision to this. There was a point in the pre-production process where we got scared of shooting in the daylight because the dark is easy to be frightening in the dark. And he said that he wanted to do something different, and making a horror movie in the daylight hours was what would make it very different.
There were a few people that were not convinced that horror or suspense or whatever can happen in broad daylight.
Everyone expected this movie to be filmed at night. So when Russell kind of, said, oh no, let's film it during the day, it was definitely did a double take.
And we did some tests, and they saw the tests and went, wow, it does. I said, yeah, sunlight's like moonlight. It's like...
It looks unbelievable because he's really captured this very spooky, creepy quality about the daytime.
It was very new to make a terror movie with daylight. That's a huge opportunity for design because you can play with the textures, you can play with the characters and with the colors. It's something that usually you don't see in a zombie film.
As it contrasts to the first two films, very bright, dry, arid landscapes, and then you've got that contrasted with the high-tech interior of the Umbrella Corporation. So visually, I think it's really interesting.
It really is about trying to find horror and suspense within daylight and within shadows. And that they were just trying to do a really fresh take on this genre. And I think they have.
We've always chosen to shoot our movies at the wrong time of year. They're really difficult to make, and they seem to do really well. So we'd hate to kind of break the habit of a lifetime by making it easy on ourselves. The fact is, we have a release date, and we have to hit it. So the option of waiting until the weather was really pleasant was not one that we could take.
The conditions are severe.
You can cook out here if you want to. Turkey bacon. I cooked some turkey bacon on top of Yukon the other day. Grease just rolling down the hood, all in the grill. I mean, it was good, too.
You can throw me on the beach, with the sand and the water at 100 degrees, and I'm straight. And it was a lot of sand. I would have preferred a little bit of water with that. But it was cool. I liked the heat, actually. It was hard work. We had to wear gear. So it was a little bit grungy, but we made it happen.
I'm hot. I'm just hot. And I don't mean hot like Fabio hot. I mean I'm just hot. My ass is melting.
The characters are living on the edge. It's a really difficult life for them. They're right on the edge of survival. And I think filming in really difficult conditions has helped that. It's been tough making this movie, but the life of these survivalists is tough. And I think that realism has kind of got its way into the celluloid.
It really, actually, I think, has helped me as an actor because you don't have to pretend. Like, you are feeling it. You're totally feeling it.
I think the heat is so immense that you find that everybody looks out for each other. You never take one bottle of water. You bring somebody else another bottle of water. You try to really look out to make sure that everybody's okay. And in a world where there's a danger at every turn, and there's no food, there's no gas, you really have to look out for each other. So I think the characters are much closer this time around.
Part of what's great about making films on location is I think it brings people together of different cultures and nationalities. The crew has definitely become close and bonded because of the hardships of the shooting environment. I think we have a great respect for the Mexican crew who shoot in this environment regularly. I have a very international crew.
Por favor, nadie que camine en todo el espacio de ahí.
People from Germany, people from Britain, people from America, people from Australia, and everybody's working very, very well together.
It is probably the most difficult working conditions I've ever experienced. On the other end of it, we're working with the best crew I think I've ever worked with.
I have a fantastic crew who just work their asses off, and I have a fantastic cast who step on other lines and boom, 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 we can go. They shoot fast. You get a lot of coverage. You know, as soon as we arrive, we're shooting within 15 minutes, and we just blast.
Russell's a great director. Having another Aussie has been really nice, but he's really on it, and he's smart, and you can see that he has a vision. It's been so much fun.
Bang! Go!
Russell's got a lot of energy, and he's got a very cool eye, and that's one of the things I really like about Russell. He sees great ways to shoot stuff. And I also felt because his visual style had influenced mine a lot, I knew that he would be a perfect director for the Resident Evil franchise.
Working in Mexicali, we had a great location. The main sets that we had in Mexicali on the exteriors were one Las Vegas, Eiffel Tower, of some exterior of the casinos, Las Vegas Main Street. We built a lot, but we try to incorporate as well all the elements of the landscape.
It's just bigger than life. You just don't expect to see these kind of things every day, and you don't. But to see something like Las Vegas, like half burned and destroyed and covered with sand, is pretty unbelievable.
Working there was extremely hard. The sun and the temperature was amazing.
It's like 135 degrees, and these guys were working on Las Vegas, half buried in the sand, and it's just epic. It's amazing what people can do, and the fact that they're just going to tear it down after the movie, it's just like, wow, it's so sad.
Okay. Radio's down. Stand by to shoot.
I had a brief period of filming Mexicali, but beyond that, Isaacs is very stuck inside the Umbrella Science Labs.
Food supplies down 28%. 17 casualties.
We're shooting at Churubusco Studios in Mexico City, which are huge. I mean, they're huge sound stages. It's where Total Recall was shot. And they're some of the biggest sound stages I've ever seen in the world. So I'm really pleased that we're shooting here because it's allowed us to build these very big, very elaborate sets.
They've done a fantastic job. I mean, it's all really, really high-tech metal look to it. it's all made of wood.
One of the main